Hi, sixth graders. Today we're taking a look at lesson 10, and it's the distributive property and the products of decimals. And as we take a look at this, our student goals are that by using arrays and partial products, you'll be able to use place value and apply the distributive property to find the product of decimals. So we're going to do things a little bit different. The first thing I want you to do is go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try letters A and B on your own. I'm not going to give you very much time, so if you don't know how to do it at all, you need to just go ahead and continue playing, but by now you should know how to multiply just regular numbers. Ignore that decimal at first, and let's see how you do. So as I go to write, I'm going to put my 32.6 up on top, and I'm going to multiply it by 200, so I'm going to hang my 0. I'm positive Mr. Hamill taught you how to hang zeros. 2 times 6 is 12, carry. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and 2 times 3 is 6. We have one decimal place, so I move it one place, and I get my answer. On the second one, I'm going to do 22.12 and multiply that times 500. Again, I can hang my 0. 5 times 2 is 10, carry. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. 5 times 2 is 10, so I carry, and 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. And this time I have 2 decimal places, so I move it 2 places, and we get 11,060. Okay? Now, as we go on, we're going to take a look at the same example, but we are going to use partial products. And partial means not the complete thing. So instead of multiplying the whole number of 200 times 32.6 and doing it all at once, we're going to do it in smaller sections. So you are looking at, oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm sorry, it was 105 in the book. I missed that. So we're looking at this very first problem, example 1, and you have plenty of room in on your book, but I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and do it up top here on this page, and you can write it where it actually is in your book. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look. The first thing that we need to take a look at is, as we do this, we are going to use the distributive property, okay? So what that means is we're actually going to write, we have our 200, and we're going to multiply that by 32. So what I'm doing is 200 times 32, and to that, I'm adding 200 times 0.6, and that is 200 times 0.6. So I have broke that into 2 pieces. That's one way to write it. Another way to write it would have been to say that this is 6,400. When we multiply this out, this is 6,400 plus 200 times 0.6 is 120. And when I add those together, I get 6,520. Notice, same answer. Any questions so far? If you do, make sure you call me over. Let's go ahead and turn the page. On this second one, this is the one we're going to actually use partial products and solve the same sort of thing. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to take 500's a really easy number to work with. So I'm going to take that 22.12, 22 and 1200ths, and I'm going to mark just a straight line here. I needed to change that color. Oh, there we go. All right, so I'm just going to mark it there. That's actually probably a little large for it, but I think we'll be all right. I'll move it up a little. All right, when we do that, what I have done is I have made this top section equal to the 0.12 feet. So I've made it just that decimal point, 1200ths. And then I've made the second part into 22 feet. Okay? By doing that, I now can multiply using the distributive. So what I'm going to do is I would write it as 500 times 22. Where am I getting that? Well, I'm getting it right here. 500 times 22, and that's going to tell me the area of this right in the middle. Okay, it's going to tell me what that is. Then I'm going to have to do the 500 times 0.12, and that'll tell me the area up in the top. So when I look at this, I can see that I have 500, and then the side length over here, right here, the whole thing was 22 plus 0.12. So that's where I got this inside here. Now, as I do that, I distribute. I have it separated. So I have 500 times 22 and 500 times 0.12. So when I go to actually multiply that, and I multiply this second one, I get 11,000 plus 600 or 60, and then my total is 11,060 feet. So as you can see, all I did was do it in little groups, so it's smaller numbers. Now this seems like a lot of work, but it's really not once we get looking at it. So we're going to take a look at these problems. And what I want you to do is I just want you to write these problems as we look at them on the back of 103, so it's literally right where you're at. You're not turning the page at all. I just want you to write it on that blank page, okay? You also need to open up your classroom and click on the link that is going to open you up to this partial product that we have listed. Okay, so go ahead and open up your book, and we're going to take a look at it. Okay, go ahead and click on it. And let's enter the very first problem. So we go over here to the left, and we are going to back that up. And we are going to enter 43 times 20. After you have that done, typed in, go ahead and click Make, and notice the shape that it makes. In order to make this an easy to multiply problem, we notice that the 20 is a really easy number. So instead of doing 43 times 20, we're going to make it an easy number. We're going to go down and make it 40 plus 3. Notice by doing that, down below, you can see we have 3 times 20. Well, what is 3 times 20? Absolutely, it's 60. And then we can look at the second part of it, and we have 40 times 20. What's 40 times 20? Well, what do we do with those zeros? Absolutely, we can just write down those two zeros and do 4 times 2 is 8. So that would be 800. And then when we have the whole thing, we then would know that it is 860. And as we look, you can see that. Let's go to the next problem. So we have 17 times 30 this time. Go ahead and enter it. All right, so which number is the easy number we're going to leave alone? Yeah, the 30. The 17 is a little bit more difficult. How can we break up 17 to make it easy? Good. 10 plus 7. So let's move this down so I have a 7 and a 10 that makes that up. Way easier, right? Then when we click down below, well, 7 times 30. What is 7 times 30? Yeah, 210. And then the second one, what is 10 times 30? Well, when we multiply by a 10, what do we just have to do? Yes, add just another 0. So that's 300. So we now have 300 plus 210. And when we do that, we can see we have 510. All right, go ahead and try the last two problems on your own. The first one is 8 times 47, and the next one is 13 times 22. And check with a friend, make sure you have the correct answer.